1683 saw the most decisive and important siege in European history. 15,000 Venetian men went against over 150,000 Ottomans in a bid to hold out as long as possible for reinforcements. A final stand that largely determined not only the fate of Europe, but also dealt a heavy blow to the Ottoman forces on the continent and saw their eventual loss of territories and influence. But how do we get here? The Ottoman Empire invaded Austria in 1683 with the goal of capturing Vienna, the gateway to Central Europe. Strategically, the Ottomans sought to crush Habsburg's power and open the path to Germany and Italy, completing the expansion they had begun a century earlier. Grand Vizier Kara Mustafa Pasha was to lead the assault. Though an accomplished strategist, Kara was also a man who pursued personal glory, hoping to secure his legacy and strengthen Ottoman prestige through a decisive victory. On the political and economic front, the empire faced eternal strains, and the grand campaign promised wealth, unity, and renewed dominance. The Ottomans believed Vienna would fall quickly, solidifying their control of the Danube and cementing their supremacy in Europe. I know what you're thinking. How did the Turks launch an invasion from all the way down here? Well, by 1683, Hungary was a land divided between three distinct powers, each with its own ruler and loyalties. The central and southern parts, including Buda, Pest, and much of the Great Hungarian Plain, were under direct Ottoman occupation. Governed as Ottoman provinces, these lands had Turkish administrations, garrisons, and Muslim settlers, forming the frontier zone of the Ottoman Empire in Europe. To the east, the Principality of Transylvania functioned as a semi-independent vassal state of the Ottoman Empire. Though it maintained its own princes and eternal autonomy, Transylvania was expected to support the Ottoman policies and pay tribute to the Sultan. The western and northern regions, known as Royal Hungary, were controlled by the Habsburg monarchy, ruled by Emperor Leopold I from Vienna. This area included fortified cities such as modern Bratislava and served as the main bulwark of Christian Europe against Ottoman expansion. Amid these powers, the Kirk rebels under Imre Tököly controlled parts of Upper Hungary, operating between Ottoman and Habsburg spheres. While nominally allied with the Ottomans, Tököly's real goal was to establish an independent Hungarian kingdom free from both Vienna and Constantinople. This fractured political landscape made Hungary both a battleground and a launchpad for the campaign, as the Ottomans could use it as a base of operations and strengthen their logistical support and supply lines. The Ottoman Empire formally declared war in August 1682, almost a year before the Siege of Vienna in September 1683. Their early declaration was intended to signal their intentions, intimidate the Habsburgs, and mobilize Ottoman allies, including the Kirk rebels in Hungary and Transylvania's semi-independent forces. However, it gave the Holy Roman Empire a strategic advantage. Emperor Leopold I and his allies had just enough time to strengthen Vienna's fortifications, amass troops, and coordinate the other European powers. Notably, the early warning allowed him to secure the support of King John III Sobieski of Poland, whose relief army would later prove decisive. By declaring war so early, the Ottomans inadvertently gave their enemies the time and coordination needed to mount a strong, organized defense, undermining the effectiveness of the invasion before it even began. The Ottoman army took nearly a year to reach Vienna after its declaration of war due to a combination of logistical, political, and environmental challenges. Their massive force of over 180,000 men, including infantry, cavalry, and artillery, required careful coordination of supplies, siege equipment, and transport animals, which slowed their progress. Hungary's rivers, marshes, forests, and fortified towns further delayed the advance as the Ottomans needed to secure key positions and sometimes suppress local uprisings. The Kirk rebels were supposed to assist, but ultimately proved unreliable, adding further complications. At the threat of the Ottoman advance, Emperor Leopold I fled Vienna, along with its court, moving west to the safety of Passau. His flight was both a strategic and a symbolic act. On the one hand, it ensured the survival of the imperial leadership, allowing him to continue coordinating the war effort and negotiate alliances. especially with King John III Sobieski of Poland. On the other hand, it signaled the gravity of the crisis. The fall of Vienna seemed imminent, and even the emperor did not believe the city could withstand the siege. To many in Europe, his departure underscored how dire the situation had become, framing the Ottoman advance as not just a regional threat, but an existential one for Christendom itself. Emperor Leopold did not want to witness the Siege of Vienna, but if you do, you can watch part 2 on our channel.